Hi everybody, my name's Dave. Thanks for joining me, and tonight we're going to talk about roof racks and roof loading. It's getting close to Friday, D-Day. It's currently Wednesday night. I've got tomorrow and then I'm in for surgery. Hopefully it all goes ahead. I suspect that this might be the last video I'll make for a little while. Although I'll probably, if I can come up with some ideas, I'll probably make some in my recovery stages when I get home next week. We'll see how we go. Anyway, on with the subject at hand. I wanted to do a video about roof racks and roof loading before I attempted to get the official stance on static and dynamic roof loading, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't find the answer, and I still can't. So let's talk about roof racks and roof loading. It's probably a talk that we shouldn't need to have. The information is there for all to read, right there in your car's manual, and yet people seem to think, she'll be right, but will it be right? Probably not, but I'm certain there will be some leniency for safety margins, but not to the tune of at least doubling your roof capacity, which many seem to just want to do. So, dynamic versus static roof loads. It doesn't matter where you look for the truth here. There just isn't any that I can find. Nothing official anyway. I can find plenty of engineers who have worked out whether the roof will take the proposed loads. Funny thing is that most of them say no. They won't even take what the manufacturer recommends. The only other thing I can find that appertains to this subject is that car manufacturers are adamant there is only one roof loading, and that is that. And that's a dynamic load. Rooftop tent manufacturers, on the other hand, will tell you that the load can be with up to 6 times the dynamic loading, calling it static loading. They would, wouldn't they? After all, they want to sell rooftop tents. However, I tend to err towards the side of the manufacturer of the car, who I'm sure would sell rooftop tents if they could, and yet they sell everything else, but not rooftop tents. Don't get me wrong, the roof of the average 4x4 is designed to withstand a huge amount of pressure to protect the likes of you and me in a rollover. I looked up the Ford Ranger and found the roof will withstand a force of more than 9,000 kilograms. Which is almost 3 times its curb weight. That's got nothing to do with how much weight you can load onto a roof. I only mentioned it because I thought it was a kind of cool information to know. So do you even need a roof rack? Well, your 4x4 roof might look like a vast empty space just waiting for stuff to be plonked onto it. But first, ask yourself, do you really need to put your gear on the roof? Do you really need to take that kitchen sink with you when you go camping for the weekend? This weekend, pack your 4x4 with all the gear you need to take camping, and as you're loading every item in, give it a good look over and see what's vital and what you've never even used before and you take with you every time. The large majority of gear can be slotted inside somewhere with a little creative thinking and making use of the available space. Now, I'm guilty of this because I take my camp shower. And I never use it when I'm on my own. I never go for long enough. But yeah, I still take it with me on the off chance I might have a shower. Things like push bikes can often be mounted in a substantially cheaper hitch receiver carrier. Larger items such as tents, swags or kayaks can work with crossbars rather than a full rack, offering considerable cost and weight saving. So where do you mount your roof racks? On the roof, obviously, but how? There are a few ways to mount roof racks on your vehicle. One is by using the rain gutter that runs around the roof line of your vehicle. It's via the load-rated mount points you'll find in the channels on the roof. And the third is by using the slimline rails on your vehicle's roof, which can be used as solid mounting points, having roof mount points. And the only car I have seen with roof gutters is a 1994 Nissan Patrol. Recently, anyway. On a side note, my roof rack came with a gutter mount kit, which is still in a box in my garage, and weighs about 25 kilograms. Glad I didn't need to fit it. So what type of roof rack should you buy? Well, it all comes down to what you'll be carrying on the roof. You can go for the old school 2 bars running across the roof, a platform or a basket. Whatever type of roof rack you choose, make sure it'll do the jobs you need it to do and be as practical as possible. With hindsight, I would have bought an aluminium, Americans note the spelling, platform type rack system that allows for plenty of versatility. Whatever type of rack you go for, we're going to need straps and tie downs to secure the load to the roof. Almost every single roof rack maker will tell you not to use bungee cords, as they allow the load to move in a dynamic situation, therefore you should only use rigid straps. So now the big question, how much can I carry? Well, this is where things become cut and dry. You see, most vehicle makers list the roof load limit of their vehicles, and some variants with the model range can have a different load limit depending on whether they've got a panoramic glass roof or not. For instance, the Ford Everest lists a roof load limit of 100 kilograms, but limits the top spec Everest titanium to 80 kilograms because of its panoramic glass roof. The limits manufacturers list are dynamic limits. They include weight of your rack, meaning that the maximum weight you can have on your roof when driving around, including the roof rack. And by that, manufacturers tend to mean driving around town. Have a flick through your vehicle's owner's manual and it would likely suggest to carry a lot less on a roof when you're driving off-road. And that's because there are additional stresses in play, like corrugations. The up and down can cause a dynamic load to impose many times more than the peak dynamic static load on your vehicle. Here are a couple of roof load ratings. The Nissan Y62 Patrol has 100 kilograms. Ford Everest, 100 kilograms, unless it's the titanium listed above. VW Amarok, 100 kilograms. Land Rover Discovery, 80 kilograms. Toyota Hilux, 75 kilograms. Remember that a rack counts as part of that load too. Now let's look at some weights of average stuff we normally see on people storing on the roof of their cars. So 20 kilograms for a full jerry can, 30 kilograms for a spare wheel, 12 kilograms for a swag, 20 kilograms for an awning, 20 kilograms box of stuff, 3 kilograms of the driving lights, and the 20 kilogram alloy rack. Total, around about 125 kilograms. That is more than the roof load limit on every single passenger vehicle 4x4 on the market right now, apart from the 200 kilograms on the 300 series. Better not grab any firewood or double up on jerry cans. And then consider a steel rack might weigh 45 kilograms and a rooftop tent between 45 and 80 kilograms, and you're dancing with the devil without any other gear. So what is the ugly side of overloading your roof racks? It's fair to say that most people are carrying way too much stuff on the roof of their 4x4. There's more to the issue than just exceeding the manufacturer's roof load limit. See, you're reducing the handling ability of your vehicle and also increasing its wind resistance. And while the latter will cost you cash, the former could kill you or someone else. Now let's look at how carrying anything on your roof as the maximum roof load limit or over it increases your vehicle's centre of gravity. Think of it like this: if you're carrying two 10 kilogram weights, one in each hand, and you turn a corner while carrying the weights, you'll be less likely to fall over than you would be if you were balancing those weights on your head. In fact, you could carry half the weight on your head and your stability would still be affected to a greater degree. This means that if you've got 100 kilograms loaded on your roof at 2 meters above the ground, the effect on the stability is the same as if you loaded 200 kilograms into the vehicle at 1 meter off the ground. And because you're carrying weight up high and raising the vehicle's centre of gravity, you need to corner brake less vigorously. Indeed, any sort of direction change when your roof is loaded becomes potentially dangerous. And that's regardless of whether you're travelling at high or low speed and around rocks, ruts, washouts or roundabouts. Then there's an additional wind resistance created by the big load on your roof, or even just having an empty roof rack. Depending on the vehicle's type and the rack type, you could be looking at fuel consumption increase of more than 1% with an empty rack. This will increase once you add a load to the roof because you're affecting the shape of your vehicle and the ability to cut through the air as cleanly as it would be without racks and a load. So what are my plans moving forward? Well, when I get out of the other side of my knee surgery and before I travel to Cairns, I will be removing my roof rack. Currently have 3 awnings, a shovel, a high lift jack and an LED light bar on there. The high lift light jack has never moved and I've used the rear awning once, so they are coming off. The steel roof rack is coming off and I'm going to mount the side and shower awnings directly to the crossbars. The rear awning and high lift jack are going and the shovel will mount elsewhere. I'm expecting a weight saving of around 45 to 50 kilograms. My plan is to fit my 57 kilogram rooftop tent to the crossbars temporarily. I'm not too sure about the LED light bar, but I will come up with a solution for it in the near future. So that's that, really. I don't have anything more to say about roof racks and roof loading. Just be careful you don't overload your car. I'll give you an example. When I was at work, a couple came in looking to buy a rooftop tent. The lightest rooftop tent we had was 57 kilograms. And I said to them, what is the roof rating for your car? Now, they had a Ford, some SUV. It wasn't a Everest. It was something smaller. It was something new. It had only just come out, and it was something like a Trend or something like that. So I got the guy to get his manual out, his handbook. He got his handbook out, and I looked up the roof load rating, 45 kilograms, without any bars, no roof rack, no nothing. 45 kilograms. So I refused to sell him anything. I said, I'm sorry, I can't sell you a rooftop tent because it'll overload your car. Whether you want to buy one or not is up to you, but I suggest you don't do it. I didn't see them again until later on when I saw them with somebody else looking at rooftop tents. Now, I went up to that person who was selling a rooftop tent and said, their car rating is 45 kilograms. Be careful what you're doing here. And that person, I believe, did not sell them a rooftop tent, but I didn't see them again after that, and I suspect that they either went somewhere else and bought one, or they went away to do something different. I don't know what that would have been, but I suggested to buy a couple of swags. Anyway, that was that. So that whatever they did, they did. If it breaks their roof, then fine. If it doesn't break their roof, then fine. But I can sleep at night knowing that I didn't sell them a rooftop tent that would overload their car. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe, like the video, and if you can, join Patreon. If you can't, just buy me a cup of coffee. And if you can't do that, then thanks for watching, and I hope you appreciate the videos. I'll see you on the next one, and I'll see you after my surgery. Thanks very much, everybody. See you then.